Every pilot is taught one fundamental truth in training: trust your crew. Listen to warnings. Experience saves lives. Captain Tyler Grant learned this in ground school, passed the tests, got the promotion. But today, on Flight 1084 at 37,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean, he's about to learn the difference between knowing something and living it. Because when the flight attendant with 23 years' experience tells him she hears something wrong with the cabin pressure, he laughs. He actually laughs. His exact words: "Relax, sweetheart. I've got this under control." 45 seconds later, he's not laughing. He's not in control. And the sweetheart he just dismissed is the only person on board who knows how to survive what's about to happen, because Diane Mercer doesn't just know cabin decompression procedures. She lived through one. 2009, Flight 447, rapid decompression at cruise altitude, oxygen masks, emergency descent, terror, survival. She knows exactly what's coming. Tyler has no idea. And in less than 1 minute, 387 people are going to depend on who's right: the young captain who thinks experience doesn't matter, or the veteran flight attendant who knows it's the only thing that does. It's 8:34 a.m. Chicago O'Hare International Airport, Terminal 5, Gate M18. The Airbus A330-300 sits ready. Registration N927AY. Blue and white livery, bright in morning sun. Flight 1084 to Honolulu, 4,112 miles. 8 hours, 43 minutes scheduled. 275 passengers boarding now. Spring break crowd. Families, honeymooners, business travelers escaping to paradise. The jetway connects. Carry-ons roll. Children run. Adults settle. Normal Thursday morning departure. Everything routine. Everything perfect. Captain Tyler Grant arrives at the aircraft at 8:41 a.m. 38 years old, 5'11", athletic build, sandy brown hair styled sharp, clean-shaven, confident smile that never fades, 4 gold stripes on navy blue shoulders, but they look almost too new, too clean, like he just got them. Because he did, 6 months ago. Youngest captain in the airline's history, 12 years total flying experience. Started at 26, regional airline, first officer, fast track to major carrier at 29. First officer again, but talented, really talented. Smooth hands, systems expert. Aced every check ride, simulator perfect. Management loved him. Fast promotion track. Captain at 37 beat the average by 8 years. He's proud of it, really proud. Wears it in his walk, his talk, his entire presence. Youth equals skill in his mind. The old guard had to wait 20 years for captain. That's because they weren't good enough. He's good enough now. The age doesn't matter. Competence matters, and he's extremely competent. His first officer greets him at the cockpit door. Rachel Kim, 43 years old, Korean-American, 16 years flying, good pilot, experienced, solid. She nods, professional. Tyler nods back, but barely. Already moving to his seat, left side. Captain's seat, his seat. 6 months sitting here, but it still feels new, still feels earned. He settles in, starts pre-flight checks, scans instruments, tests systems, everything by the book. He's meticulous, precise, procedure perfect. That's why management promoted him. Not just skill, discipline, following the rules, doing it right. He prides himself on it. Senior flight attendant Diane Mercer boards at 8:46 a.m. 51 years old, 5'6". Gray-streaked brown hair pulled back tight, Navy uniform pressed perfect. 23 years with the airline, started 2001, worked through 9/11, through the recession, through countless flights, countless passengers, countless captains. She's seen everything: the good ones, the bad ones, the competent ones, the dangerous ones, the humble ones, the arrogant ones. Tyler Grant she's seen before, not him specifically, but his type. Young, fast-tracked, talented but inexperienced, confident but untested. They fly perfect until something breaks. Then the youth becomes a liability. The lack of real-world crisis experience shows. She's seen it, she knows it, she watches for it. She approaches the cockpit to coordinate the pre-flight briefing. Standard procedure, every flight. Flight attendants need to know flight deck status, captain needs to know cabin status, partnership, communication, team. She stands at the threshold, doesn't enter, just waits. Tyler glances up, sees her, barely, goes back to his checklist. She waits, professional, patient. Finally, he acknowledges her, asks what she needs. She begins the briefing, cabin configuration, 275 passengers, full flight, 387 souls including crew, medical supplies checked, emergency equipment verified. She mentions one thing, the cabin pressure. She's flown this aircraft registration before, N927AY, 3 months ago. Had a minor issue with the outflow valve. Maintenance fixed it. But she noticed on that flight the cabin altitude climbed slightly faster than normal during initial cruise. Just a bit, probably nothing, but worth monitoring, just in case. Tyler's expression changes, amused, almost condescending. He tells her the aircraft passed maintenance checks, outflow valve tested, systems nominal, everything green. He's got the instruments right here, cabin pressure, differential, rate of climb, all monitored. He'll know if there's a problem. No need for cabin crew to worry about technical systems. His exact words land soft but cutting. Relax, sweetheart, I've got this under control. The smile that follows isn't mean, just dismissive, casual, the kind of smile that says, I appreciate the concern, but I'm the expert here. He tells her to focus on the cabin. He'll handle the flight deck. That's how it works. Different roles. Different responsibilities. She's great at her job. Let him be great at his. Diane's face doesn't change. Professional mask perfect. She simply nods. Understood, Captain. No problem. She backs away, returns to the cabin, but her jaw tightens slightly. Her eyes narrow just a fraction. She's heard that tone before. Sweetheart. Dismissive. Patronizing, the young captain explaining aircraft systems to the flight attendant with 23 years experience, as if time doesn't teach, as if living through emergencies doesn't count, as if the gray in her hair means she's less sharp instead of more aware. She's not angry, not offended, just confirmed. Tyler Grant is exactly what she thought, talented, competent, arrogant, untested, and potentially dangerous. What Tyler doesn't know is that Diane Mercer isn't just a flight attendant. She's a survivor. March 17, 2009, Flight 447, Denver to Phoenix, Airbus A320. She was working that flight, newer then, only 9 years experience, but she learned more in 10 minutes that day than most people learn in a career. Rapid decompression, 35,000 feet, structural failure, fuselage crack, the cabin pressure dropped like a stone, oxygen masks deployed, passengers screaming, terror absolute. She'd trained for it, everyone trains for it, but training and living it are different universes. The noise, the cold, the wind, the chaos, the primal fear, people thinking they're dying, children crying, adults frozen. She wasn't frozen. She moved, she managed, she controlled the cabin, positioned passengers, enforced brace positions, coordinated crew, kept people alive while the pilots executed emergency descent. They landed. Everyone survived. 15 passengers injured, none fatal. FAA investigation, structural crack found. Maintenance failure, not pilot error, not crew error, just bad luck caught by good training and better execution. But Diane learned something that day that no simulator teaches. She learned what decompression sounds like before it happens, the subtle whistle, the pressure differential shift, the way the cabin feels different, how the air moves wrong. It's not in the training manuals, it's not in the procedures, it's in the experience, it's in the scar tissue, physical and mental. She knows these sounds, she knows these signs. And when she walked through N927AY's cabin 10 minutes ago, when she listened to the air circulation, when she felt the pressure in her ears, something registered. Familiar, wrong, subtle, but there, the same feeling she had on Flight 447 90 minutes before the decompression. That's why she mentioned it to Tyler. Not panic, not paranoia. Experience speaking, instinct earned through trauma. Tyler dismissed it with a smile, with sweetheart, with confidence born from simulator perfection and 12 years of incident-free flying. He's never lived through a real emergency, never felt the aircraft break, never managed actual chaos. His competence is theoretical. Diane's is empirical. And in aviation, empirical beats theoretical every single time. But Tyler doesn't know that yet. He's about to learn. At 9:03 a.m., Flight 1084 pushes back from gate M18. Ground crew disconnects. The A330 taxis toward runway 28R. Tyler handles the radio. Rachel manages checklists. Everything smooth, everything standard. Diane stands in the forward galley, watches, listens. That subtle wrongness still there. She can't pinpoint it, can't prove it, just feels it. She positions herself near the emergency equipment. Oxygen bottles, medical kits, megaphone, evacuation slides, armed and ready. Just in case, old habits, survival instincts, experience whispering. Flight 1084 lifts off Chicago at 9:17 a.m., climbs into clear blue sky, Wisconsin below, Lake Michigan sparkling, perfect flying weather. Tyler hand flies the departure, smooth, confident, really is a good stick. Rachel monitors, calls altitudes, 10,000 feet, 20,000, 30,000. They level at 37,000 at 9:34 a.m. cruise altitude. Autopilot engaged. Flight management computer locked on course. Honolulu direct. 8 hours ahead. Pacific Ocean waiting. Tyler leans back. Satisfied. Perfect departure. Perfect climb. Perfect aircraft. Everything under control. Exactly like he said. In the cabin, Diane begins service. Coffee, juice, breakfast. She moves through the aisles, professional, warm, efficient, but her attention splits. Half on passengers, half on listening, feeling. The cabin pressure differential, the airflow, that subtle wrongness still there. Maybe stronger, she's not sure. She pauses mid-service, stands near row 23, listens. There, a whistle, faint, very faint, high-pitched, coming from somewhere, the outflow valve area maybe, or a seal, or a window, something bleeding air, something wrong. Her pulse quickens. Not panic, recognition. She's heard this before. 2009, Flight 447, 90 minutes before disaster. The exact same sound. She moves quickly to the forward galley, picks up the intercom, calls the cockpit. Tyler answers. Annoyed already. What now? She tells him. Cabin pressure, subtle whistle. She thinks there's a seal issue, maybe the outflow valve, maybe a window seal. Can he check the cabin altitude rate, the differential pressure, make sure everything's holding? Tyler's sigh audible through the speaker. He tells her he's looking at the gauges right now. Cabin altitude 7,200 feet, normal for 37,000 cruise. Differential pressure 8.2 psi, perfect. Rate of climb 0. Stable. Everything exactly where it should be. The instruments don't lie. If there's a whistle, it's probably air conditioning or auxiliary systems. Nothing structural, nothing dangerous. His voice carries that edge again. Patronizing, patient, like explaining to a child. He appreciates her vigilance, really, but the aircraft is fine. Systems are green. She should trust the instruments, trust his training, trust that he knows what he's doing. And then he adds it, the line that seals his fate, the line he'll replay in his mind for months afterward. Relax, sweetheart. I've got this under control. Diane holds the phone, silent for 3 seconds, then responds, Understood, Captain. She hangs up, stands in the galley, processes. He dismissed her, again with the same condescension, the same arrogance, the same blind faith in instruments over experience. She knows what's coming. Not when, not exactly how, but it's coming. The signs are all there, the sounds, the feeling, the pattern. Flight 447 taught her, trauma taught her, survival taught her. Something is wrong with this aircraft. Tyler doesn't believe her, won't listen. His instruments say everything's fine. Her instincts say otherwise. And in 45 seconds, she's going to be proven right. In 45 seconds, Tyler Grant's perfect theoretical world is going to explode into very real chaos. And when it does, when the cabin pressure drops and the masks deploy and the passengers scream, when Tyler freezes in that cockpit trying to remember procedures he's only practiced in simulators, Diane Mercer is going to do what survivors do. She's going to take control. She's going to save lives. She's going to prove that experience isn't something you dismiss with a smile and sweetheart. It's something you earn through fire, and she's been through the fire, Tyler hasn't, but he's about to enter it. And the person he laughed at 45 seconds ago is going to be the only reason he and everyone else on Flight 1084 survives. 45 seconds. That's all the time Tyler Grant has before his world changes. He doesn't know it yet. He's leaning back in the captain's seat, watching the flight management computer track their course across the Great Circle route to Honolulu. Autopilot engaged. Auto throttle managing speed. The A330 flies itself beautifully. Modern aviation, glass cockpit, fly-by-wire. The aircraft systems do 90% of the work. The captain just monitors, makes decisions, manages the big picture. And right now the big picture is perfect. Clear skies, light winds, on time, on course, everything exactly as planned. Rachel Kim monitors the navigation display. Quiet, professional. She heard the cabin call, heard Tyler's response, heard the dismissal. She says nothing, not her place. Tyler's the captain, his decision, his aircraft, but she's flown with Diane Mercer before, 3 times. Good flight attendant, really good. Professional, calm, not the type to panic over nothing. If Diane's calling about cabin pressure, it's worth checking, but Rachel doesn't push. Hierarchy matters, captain's in command. She returns to her scan, instruments, systems, all green. Maybe Diane's wrong this time, maybe Tyler's right. The gauges don't lie. 30 seconds. In the cabin, Diane moves fast, not running, not panicking, but purposeful, efficient. She signals the other flight attendants, 4 of them, junior crew, good people but inexperienced. Never lived through a real emergency. She tells them quietly, positions yourselves, emergency equipment ready, oxygen bottles accessible, medical kits staged. She doesn't explain why, doesn't have time. They see her face, they trust her seniority, they move. She walks to the nearest row of passengers, scans them, identifies the strong ones, the aware ones, the people who'll help if chaos hits. Row 12, business traveler, former military maybe, posture straight, alert. She makes eye contact, memorizes his face. Row 18, woman, 35, looks like a nurse, something medical in how she carries herself. Diane files it away. When the masks drop, these people will help, the others will panic, but these few will act. She knows how to spot them. Experience teaches you. 15 seconds, the whistle grows. Faint still, but definitely louder. Diane hears it clearly now. Row 23. Near the window, she moves toward it, places her hand on the fuselage, feels it. Vibration. Wrong vibration. The kind that means structural stress. The kind that means failure imminent. Her pulse spikes, not fear. Adrenaline, preparation, muscle memory from 2009 kicking in. She's about to live through this again, rapid decompression. The worst nightmare in aviation, death at altitude. But she survived once. She'll survive again, and she'll make damn sure everyone else does too. 5 seconds. Tyler checks the cabin altitude gauge one more time. 7,200 feet, stable, perfect. See? Nothing wrong. Instruments don't lie. He glances at Rachel, shares a slight smirk. Cabin crew worrying about technical systems, cute. Well-meaning, but unnecessary. That's why pilots exist. That's why he spent 12 years training. He knows these systems, knows this aircraft, knows when there's real danger and when there's just nervous, boom. The sound is catastrophic, explosive, deafening. Row 23, window seal failure, explosive decompression. The cabin pressure differential 8.2 psi equalizes with outside atmospheric pressures in less than 2 seconds. The air rushes out, wind inside the cabin, hurricane force, papers flying. Loose items sucked toward the breach. The temperature drops instantly. 37,000 feet outside air, -40 degrees. Frost forms on windows. Condensation explodes into fog. Oxygen masks deploy. Yellow masks dropping from every overhead compartment. 377 masks for 387 people. Passengers scream. Children cry. Adults freeze in terror. The noise is overwhelming. The wind, the cold, the chaos, absolute pandemonium. In the cockpit, alarms scream. Master warning, master caution, cabin altitude. Cabin altitude, red lights flashing, oral warnings blaring. The cabin altitude gauge spikes. 8,000 feet, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, climbing fast, too fast. The outflow valve failed completely. Cabin pressure gone. Structural integrity compromised. The aircraft is dying, everyone inside dying with it. Without oxygen, without pressure. 3 minutes until hypoxia, 5 minutes until unconsciousness, 7 minutes until brain death. The clock is running, and Tyler Grant freezes. He stares at the instruments, brain locked. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. The gauges said everything was fine. Systems were green. He checked, he verified. How is this possible? The training kicks in, should kick in, but his hands don't move. His voice doesn't work. He's never done this for real. Only simulators, and simulators don't have the noise, the alarms, the vibration, the fear. Real emergencies aren't like training. They're chaos. They're terror. They're drowning in information while your brain screams and your body locks up. Tyler's locked up completely, staring at the red lights, hearing the warnings, not acting, not moving, frozen. Rachel acts. She's older, more experienced. She's been through bad situations before, not decompression, but engine failures, hydraulic problems, real emergencies. She recognizes Tyler's freeze, shouts at him, "Emergency descent now!" Her voice cuts through. Tyler blinks, snaps partially back. Emergency descent, right, procedure. He reaches for the controls, but his hand shakes, fumbles. Rachel's already there, disconnects autopilot, pushes the yoke forward, hard. The A33O's nose drops, violently. -3,000 feet per minute, diving. Passengers scream louder. Negative G-force. Bodies lifting against seatbelts. Oxygen masks swinging. Rachel pulls throttles to idle, deploys speed brakes, maximum descent rate. They need 10,000 feet, need breathable air, need it now. 37,000 to 10,000. 5 minutes if they're fast, 4 if they're lucky. People can survive 4 minutes without oxygen if they're healthy. Children less, elderly less, anyone with heart conditions less. They need speed. Tyler finally moves, helps, monitors descent, calls ATC, voice shaking, emergency, rapid decompression, descending immediately, require priority, require emergency services, require everything. Denver Center responds, emergency declared, altitudes cleared below you, direct to Denver International 32 miles, runway 35L ready. Fire trucks rolling, ambulances standing by, get down safe. Do it now, Tyler acknowledges. Hands still shaking. He's a captain. He's supposed to be calm, supposed to be in control, but he's terrified, absolutely terrified. This is real. People are dying right now in the cabin, and he froze. He froze. Rachel saved them, not him. The first officer, not the captain. His ego shatters with the cabin pressure. In the cabin, Diane Mercer transforms. The moment the decompression hit, the moment the masks dropped, 15 years vanished. She's back on Flight 447, 2009, 35,000 feet, same sound, same chaos, same terror. But this time she knows what to do. This time she's prepared. This time she's in control. Her voice cuts through the screaming, loud, commanding, absolute authority. Oxygen masks on, pull down, place over nose and mouth, breathe normally, she demonstrates, grabs her own mask, pulls it down, secures it, breathes, then moves, row by row, aisle by aisle, checking passengers, helping the frozen ones, the panicking ones. The elderly woman in 14C can't reach her mask. Diane reaches up, pulls it down, secures it over her face. The child in 18F is screaming, mask swinging wild. Diane kneels. Calm, soothing, shows the mother how to secure it, demonstrates on herself first. Mother copies. Child breathes. Crisis controlled. Row 23. The breach point. 3 passengers. Window seat. Middle aisle. All 3. Terrified. Wind still screaming through the failed seal. Cold burning. Diane assesses fast. Window passenger in shock but breathing with mask. Middle passenger hyperventilating but okay. Aisle passenger helping others. Good. She moves on. Can't fix the seal. Can't stop the decompression. Can only manage people. Keep them alive until the pilots get them down. And the pilots better get them down fast. She keys the PA. Mask still on but voice clear. Trained for this. Passengers remain seated. Keep masks on. Breathe normally. We are executing emergency descent. You will feel rapid altitude change. This is normal. Stay calm. Follow crew instructions. We will be on the ground soon. Her voice doesn't waver, doesn't panic. Pure confidence, pure command. Passengers hear it. Some calm slightly, some still scream. But the ones who can think, the ones who can process, they focus on her voice. They trust it. They obey. The junior flight attendants look to Diane. What do we do? She directs them. You check forward cabin. You check aft. You prepare for emergency landing. You stage medical equipment. They move. They execute. She's conducting an orchestra of controlled chaos. Every person positioned. Every task assigned. Every contingency covered. This is what 23 years teaches. This is what surviving teaches. Tyler Grant dismissed her with sweetheart. And I've got this under control. She's got this under control now. He's in the cockpit probably panicking. She's in the cabin saving lives. Experience wins every time. 3 minutes into the descent, flight 1084 passing through 23,000 feet. Cabin altitude dropping, still dangerous, but improving. 15,000, 14, 13. Passengers still on oxygen but breathing easier. The pressure returning, the cold lessening, the wind slowing. The seal breach still there but the differential smaller. Less violent, more manageable. Diane checks every row again. 2 passengers hyperventilating badly. She moves to them, kneels, eye contact, calm voice. Breathe with me. In, out, in, out. They synchronize. Breathing slows. Panic subsides. 1 passenger, elderly man, row 27, chest pain. Possible heart attack. Diane signals a flight attendant. Medical kit, now. She checks his pulse. Fast, irregular. She knows basic first aid. 23 years teaches you. Aspirin administered, oxygen continued, monitoring. He's alive. Struggling but alive. He'll need paramedics immediately on landing. She makes a mental note. Priority passenger, first off, 4 minutes, 10,000 feet. Cabin altitude back to normal. Oxygen no longer critical, but masks stay on. Protocol. Tyler's voice on the PA, shaking, uncertain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. We've experienced a rapid decompression. We're executing an emergency landing in Denver. 3 minutes. Emergency crews standing by. Please remain seated. Keep masks on until instructed otherwise. Flight attendants prepare for emergency landing. He's following the script, reading the procedures, but his voice betrays him. Fear, uncertainty. He's barely holding it together. Diane's voice follows. Immediate, strong, clear. Passengers, you've done incredibly well. Continue breathing with your masks. When we land, remain seated until instructed. Follow crew directions exactly. We've trained for this. You are safe. We will get everyone off this aircraft safely. Trust us. Trust yourselves. You're doing great. Her voice steadies them, calms them. Tyler told them what's happening. Diane told them they're okay. They believe her more. They trust experience more than rank. 5 minutes. Flight 1084 on final approach. Denver runway 35L, 3 miles, gear down, flaps full, speed stabilized. Rachel flies the approach. Tyler monitors, still shaken, still processing. Rachel's rock solid, been here before. Different emergency, but same pressure. She's got this. The runway grows, bigger, closer, fire trucks visible, ambulances lined up, emergency crews ready. The A330 crosses the threshold. Rachel flares. Perfect. Touchdown. Smooth. Reversers deploy. Brakes engage. The aircraft decelerates, slows, stops. Runway 35L. Denver International Flight 1084 landed safe. Everyone alive. The cabin erupts. Not applause. Relief. Crying. Sobbing. Passengers holding each other. Hugging strangers. The terror breaking into release. They survived. They actually survived. Diane stands in the forward galley, removes her mask, breathes deep, slow. Her hands shake slightly now. Adrenaline crash, but she can't stop yet. Emergency evacuation might be necessary. She prepares, waits for the captain's command. Tyler's voice on the PA, evacuate, slides deployed. Diane moves, opens doors, slides inflate. Evacuate, leave everything. Jump and slide, move, move, move. Passengers flow, fast, efficient. Diane directs them. Elderly first, children, injured, then everyone else. 387 people off the aircraft in 3 minutes. Every single one alive, every single one safe. Mission accomplished. Emergency crews swarm Flight 1084. Paramedics treat passengers on the tarmac. Fire crews inspect the aircraft. The breach in row 23 clearly visible. Window seal catastrophic failure. Exactly what Diane said. Exactly what she warned about. Exactly what Tyler dismissed. The elderly man with chest pain loaded into an ambulance first. Lights and sirens. He'll make it. Probably. 2 other passengers treated for hyperventilation, minor injuries from evacuation, scraped knees, bruised elbows, nothing serious. 387 souls on board. 387 souls accounted for. 0 fatalities, 0 critical injuries. Successful emergency evacuation by every metric, a victory. Tyler Grant stands on the tarmac, watching, numb, his hands still shaking, the reality crushing him. He froze. When the decompression hit, when the alarms screamed, when action was required immediately, he froze. Rachel flew the descent. Diane managed the cabin. He did nothing. Worse than nothing. He panicked. The youngest captain in the airline's history, the fast-tracked golden boy, the simulator ace, frozen like a student pilot on his first solo. The shame burns deeper than the cold wind. Diane Mercer supervises the last passengers off, counts them, verifies, all accounted for. She's the last person off the aircraft. Protocol, senior flight attendant responsibility. She walks down the slide, lands on solid ground, stands, breathes. It's over. She survived. Again, 2009, 2024, 15 years apart. Same nightmare, same outcome, survival. But this time, she knew what was coming. This time, she was ready. This time, she controlled it instead of reacting to it. The difference between living through chaos and mastering it. FAA investigators arrive within an hour. National Transportation Safety Board 2 hours later. They ground the aircraft immediately. Inspection begins. The window seal failure obvious. Metallurgical fatigue. Maintenance records pulled. Inspection logs reviewed. The outflow valve Diane mentioned also showing wear, not the cause of decompression, but contributing to pressure issues. Diane's observation 3 months ago documented. Her warning today documented. Tyler's dismissal documented. The cockpit voice recorder captured everything. His exact words. Relax, sweetheart. I've got this under control. 45 seconds before catastrophic failure. The investigators note it, file it, include it in their report. Tyler's interviewed first. Pilot in command. He recounts the sequence. Systems showed normal. No warnings until decompression. He executed emergency descent, landed safely. Everyone survived. The investigators listen, take notes, then ask the question that breaks him. Captain Grant, the cockpit voice recorder indicates the senior flight attendant reported cabin pressure concerns twice before the event. You dismissed both reports. Why? Tyler's face goes pale. He tries to explain instruments showed green. Gauges were normal. No technical indication of problems. The investigators nod. They understand instruments, but they ask another question. Did you physically inspect the cabin? Verify the flight attendant's observations? Investigate her concerns? Tyler admits he didn't. Relied on instruments alone. The investigators write that down too. Diane's interviewed next. 23 years experience. Survived Flight 447 in 2009. She explains the signs she noticed. The whistle, the vibration, the feeling. The same pattern as 2009. She reported to the captain twice. He dismissed both times. She prepared anyway. When decompression occurred, she executed emergency procedures, managed the cabin, kept everyone alive. The investigators are impressed, extremely impressed. They ask about her training, standard flight attendant emergency training plus personal experience from 2009. They ask about her actions during decompression. She recounts every step: oxygen masks, passenger positioning, PA announcements, medical assistance, evacuation preparation, textbook perfect, better than textbook, real-world expert execution. The lead investigator asks one final question. Ms. Mercer, in your professional opinion, could this emergency have been prevented? Diane considers. Honest answer, maybe. If the captain had listened, had investigated, had taken the concerns seriously, maybe they would have found the seal fatigue before failure. Maybe they would have diverted for inspection, maybe. But she doesn't say that, not her place to blame. She simply states facts. She reported concerns, standard protocol. Captain assessed and made decision, his prerogative. When emergency occurred, crew responded appropriately. Outcome successful. The investigator thanks her, but his notes tell a different story. Captain dismissed experienced crew warnings, led to preventable emergency. Crew saved captain's career, possibly his life. 6 months later, Tyler Grant sits in a conference room, airline headquarters, Chicago. Same building where he celebrated his captain promotion 18 months ago. Different meeting now, very different. Chief pilot sits across from him. Director of Operations, Safety Manager, HR Representative. They've reviewed the NTSB final report. Findings: window seal failure due to maintenance oversight. Contributing factor: captain dismissed crew warnings about cabin pressure issues. Cockpit voice recorder evidence of dismissive attitude toward experienced crew member. Failure to investigate reported concerns. Panic response during emergency. First officer assumed command during crisis. Senior flight attendant managed cabin evacuation with exceptional competence. Recommendation: additional crew resource management training for Captain Grant. Performance review: probationary status. The chief pilot delivers the decision. Tyler keeps his captain license, keeps his rating, but loses captain position. Demoted to first officer indefinitely. Mandatory CRM training. Simulator recurrency focused on emergency procedures. Psychological evaluation. 6-month probation. After probation, reapplication for captain upgrade possible, but not guaranteed. Need to demonstrate improved judgment, improved crew coordination, improved trust in experienced crew members, improved humility. Tyler accepts it. No argument, no appeal. He knows what he did. Knows what he didn't do, knows who saved that flight. It wasn't him. Diane Mercer stands in a different office. Same day, different city, Dallas. Airline Training Center headquarters. Chief of Training sits across from her. Director of Safety. They've reviewed the same NTSB report, different perspective. They see a flight attendant with 23 years experience, survivor of 2 rapid decompressions, expert crisis manager, exceptional crew leadership, saved 387 lives through preparation, experience, and competence. They're creating a new position, crisis training director, developing realistic emergency training programs for flight attendants, drawing from real-world experience, teaching what simulators can't teach, what textbooks can't capture. The sounds, the feelings, the instincts, the survival skills. They want Diane to lead it, design the curriculum, train the trainers, create the next generation of crisis-ready crew members. Diane accepts immediately. She's wanted this for 15 years, since 2009, since Flight 447. She survived for a reason, learned for a reason. Now she can teach, can prepare others, can make sure the next time a young captain dismisses an experienced crew member's warning, that crew member has the confidence, the authority, and the training to insist, to push back, to save lives even when command doesn't listen. This is her purpose. This is what survival meant. Not just living through it, teaching from it. First Officer Rachel Kim got promoted. Captain position, different airline, better pay, better respect. She left after Flight 1084. Couldn't work with Tyler anymore. Couldn't trust a captain who freezes, but she took the lesson with her. Trust experienced crew. Listen to warnings. Experience beats instruments. Always. She's a different captain now, better captain. The kind who asks flight attendants what they observe, who investigates concerns, who respects the people who've been flying longer, who understands rank isn't wisdom, time is wisdom, and wisdom saves lives. The viral video has 12 million views, passenger recorded, posted. Flight attendant saves everyone after decompression. The comments universal, hero, professional, experienced, competent, everything a crew member should be, everything Tyler wasn't. The video changed training industry-wide. Multiple airlines reviewing crew resource management, reviewing how captains interact with flight attendants, reviewing the assumption that flight deck knows best. They don't always. Sometimes cabin crew knows better. Sometimes experience speaks louder than instruments. Sometimes sweetheart knows more than captain. Flight 1084 proved it. Diane Mercer proved it. Tyler Grant learned it the hardest way possible. The lesson is written now, in NTSB reports, in training manuals, in airline policies worldwide. Listen to your crew. Trust experience, investigate warnings. Age isn't a liability. Youth isn't superiority. Gray hair means survival. Survival means wisdom. Wisdom saves lives. Tyler dismissed 23 years of experience with a smile and sweetheart. Those 23 years saved his life, saved everyone's life, saved his career from complete destruction, and proved what aviation has known since the Wright brothers. Flying isn't about ego. It's about the team, the whole team. Flight deck and cabin, young and old. Captains and flight attendants, everyone watching, everyone communicating, everyone trusting, everyone surviving together. And somewhere in Dallas, in the Crisis Training Center, Diane Mercer teaches a class of new flight attendants. She plays them the audio, Tyler's voice. "Relax, sweetheart, I've got this under control." Then the boom, the alarms, the chaos, the terror. She watches their faces, sees them understand, sees them learn. Then she tells them the truth. The captain didn't have it under control. She did. Not because she was smarter, not because she was better trained, because she'd lived through it before, because she recognized the signs, because she trusted her instincts, because when the captain dismissed her, she prepared anyway. And when disaster struck, she was ready. That's what experience does. That's what survival teaches. That's what saves lives. She tells them to trust themselves, trust their observations, trust their instincts. If something feels wrong, say something. Keep saying it. If the captain dismisses you, prepare anyway. If the crisis comes, act. You might be the only person who can save everyone. Don't let rank intimidate you. Don't let dismissal silence you. Don't let sweetheart diminish you. You are professionals. You are experts. You are the last line of defense between passengers and disaster. Own that. Embrace that. Live that. The students listen. They understand. They're learning what Tyler learned too late. What every pilot should know from day one. The person who saves your life might not be wearing 4 stripes, might not be sitting in the left seat, might not be the youngest captain in airline history, might be the flight attendant you just dismissed, the one you called sweetheart, the one you told to relax, the one who's been flying since before you had a license, the one who survived when you've only simulated, the one who knows, the one who's ready, the one who's going to save you when your instruments lie and your training fails and your confidence shatters at 37,000 feet. Tyler Grant knows that now. He knows it every time he sits in the right seat, every time a captain makes a decision, every time he wants to speak up but remembers he's not in command anymore, every time he flies with a senior flight attendant and sees that gray in their hair, every time he hears a crew member report a concern. He listens now. He investigates now. He trusts now. He learned. Too late for his captain seat, but not too late for his soul. He's a better pilot now, better human, humbled by 45 seconds, taught by the woman he dismissed, saved by the experience he mocked. And Flight 1084 will forever be proof that in aviation, as in life, the loudest voice isn't always the wisest. The highest rank isn't always the most competent. The youngest talent isn't always the most prepared. Sometimes wisdom whispers. Sometimes experience gets dismissed. Sometimes sweetheart saves everyone. And sometimes the person who laughed 45 seconds ago spends the rest of their life learning why that laugh was the biggest mistake they ever made. Tyler laughed. Diane saved him anyway. Because that's what professionals do. That's what survivors do. That's what heroes do. They save lives even when those lives belong to people who dismissed them, even when those people called them sweetheart, even when those people said, "I've got this under control," 45 seconds before everything fell apart. Diane Mercer had it under control. She always did. Tyler just didn't know it. Now the whole world does, and 387 people are alive because experience, wisdom, and preparation mattered more than rank, youth, and arrogance. Every single time. No exceptions.